Hello, in this CSS crash course video, we're going to be looking at margins and paddings, both of which allow you to create space around your sort of content. So if you have a div and its width is, usually a div is a block level element and it covers the entire width of the parent element, but there are ways around it. So for argument's sake, this particular div that we have is 100 pixels by 100 pixels. Maybe it's just a solid color. We could add margin around it. Maybe you want to do it for position. That's most likely what you would want it for. And if you add, let's say, a margin of 20 pixels on the bottom, the left, the top, and the right, it's just white, it's just empty space, and it's not part of the object necessarily itself. And what I mean by that is, if that, let's say, link is clickable, it will only be clickable within that. I mean, if that div was clickable, it would only be clickable within the 100 by 100 pixels. It wouldn't be clickable in the extra margin area. Whereas padding is, you can say, within the element. So if you do padding and then you put a background on it, it would actually show the background in the padding area, and if it was clickable, the padding part would be clickable as well. So that's what margins and paddings are. There's 5 different ways that we're going to be covering margins, and then 5 different ways we're going to be covering padding. The 5 different ways are to apply marginal padding equally to all four sides, or to do it individually. So first of all, what we're going to do is just create a, what should we do? Create a div tag, and for this we're going to put style equals margin colon 100 pixel. Actually, you know what, before I even do anything for the style, I'm just going to put in here margin, save that, and show you what that looks like. So that's what that looks like at the moment, all simple stuff. So now in here I'm going to put margin colon 100 pixels, go back, refresh, and as you can see, the margin has now spread everything out. And if we right click it, inspect the element, let's just resize this a bit. We go to the body, so we got the div right here. So this, the blue part is the actual, just the core aspect, the core content, and then around it is padding, which we haven't applied any of. There's border, we will be covering border in a separate video, so don't worry. And then there is margin, so this is the margin around it. So now let's actually, you know what, I'm going to put a background color. So background dash color, let's see what yellow looks like. Okie dokie, what I'm just gonna do is just change the color to black. Actually, if I can submit this, so if I save that, refresh, so you can see the actual color itself is only within the content area. That's the same with margin, whether you apply margin using one value or you apply separately for the left, right, top, and bottom, whereas padding, it does include it, which we'll be showing you in a second. So now what we're going to do is, so we're going to put a couple of new line tags, and we're going to put a span. The reason we're going to put a span is we're going to put 2 pieces of text by each other, so you can actually see the different individual margins working. Otherwise it'll be a little hard to see, because we're going to show you the margin left and then something like the margin right. So now let's go on span, and now let's, inside here, let's put left margin, and for the style I'm going to put margin dash left, and I'm going to put 100 pixels, and for the background dash color I'm going to put yellow. I'm going to put blue, red. Red should be okay with black text. So there you go. We have this left margin now. And if we go to our span tag, as you can see, there's only margin on the left. There's nothing on the top or the bottom. So if we hover over margin, there's nothing to the right of you. And the way we're going to illustrate that is by putting another span tag. So span, and inside here we're simply going to put extra text. We're not going to apply any styling to it. If we refresh, I need to apply styling because of color. So style equals color white. Save that, refresh. As you can see, it's directly next to it. Now we're going to be showing you the oopsie daisy. Now we're going to be showing you the right span tag. So I think we could just copy and paste this, change this to right, change this to right, save it, refresh. As you can see, even though this isn't moving on the left, because it puts margin on the right, it moves any contents to the right on that line, I should say, because it's not moving this at the top. So if we go to it right here, as you can see, the margin is only applied to the right, and it's just literally on the next line below this one right here. So now what we're going to do is cover the margin dash bottom. So I think you guessed it, it's going to put margin on the bottom. So what we're going to do is let's copy and paste that, change this to a div. The reason I want to change it to a div because let's just put this here first. Margin dash bottom, 100 pixels. Change this to a blue. Bottom margin. We're going to change this to a div. The reason we're changing it to divs is because we're applying the margin on the bottom. Now we want the different piece of text on separate lines so you can see them affecting each other. When we save that, that looks all good to me. Refresh, and as you can see, this has now pushed this piece of text to the bottom or a little lower. There's no margin on the left, right, or the top. It is purely on the bottom. There we go. So now what we're going to do is show you the top margin. So actually I'll just copy and paste this. I won't even delete this right here. I'm just going to put margin dash top, background dash color. For this I'm just trying to put a different color, so green top, save that, refresh, and as you can see, it looks very similar to this, but if we were to put some extra text below it, so if we were to put a div, actually I can just copy and paste this, save it, refresh. As you can see, it's directly below it simply because this has only applied a margin above it, so it's almost like pushing itself down essentially. That's probably the best way to look at it. So that's it for margin. We've got the left, right, bottom and top, and we've just got the one margin value which applies it just universally to all of them using a separate CSS file when you can actually identify different elements uniquely and group them together, which we'll be covering later on. It's called classes and IDs. But when you can do that, you can override the margin. So if let's say you want several elements to have a margin of 100 pixels on everything, but then on one of them you only want the margin left to be 90 pixels, you can easily do that. That's not a problem at all. So now what we're going to be doing is showing you padding, and you know what, I think we may just be able to copy and paste this and literally just change margin to padding. I think that should illustrate what I'm trying to teach you. So if I change this to padding, 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 padding. Now we just need to change this to padding. Probably gonna have to redo it anyway. Save that, and now let's refresh. There you go, it's worked literally the way we wanted it. And in terms of the extra text, and if you ignore the colors, everything, the bottom part is positioned the same way as the top part, but the difference is, as you can see, is the padding is, let's find a padding on this one right here. There's no margin, but padding is within the element itself, within the border. That's the best way to think of it. If it's within the border, it's like part of the element. If it's outside of the border, it's like saying, yeah, I'm pushing you away, but you're not part of me either. And that's the same case for all of these different paddings. So yeah, that's it for margins and paddings. You are going to be using this a lot, trust me, to position stuff. This will be one of the main features that you use. And yeah, that is it. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on our education platform, sonarlearning.co.uk, or message us here. There will be a link to all the source code from this video and the source code from every other video. If you liked this video or you didn't like it, please let us know as well, because we accept all types of feedback. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.